She held the key in her hand and whispered, "He's back. I think we should just be friends." I looked into her eyes for a moment, took the key, and said softly, "All right." Then I walked away, quietly, completely. Months later, she showed up at my door in tears, thinking I was still waiting for her. But when the door opened, she realized she was far too late. Hey legend, subscribe to my channel and boost my motivation. Your one click means a lot to me. Thank you. I'm 30 years old, and for 4 years, I thought I'd found the one. Sarah and I met in college during a summer abroad program in Barcelona. She was studying art history. I was there for a business seminar, and we spent 3 weeks exploring the city together before flying back to separate states. Long distance lasted 8 months before I moved across the country to be with her. That's how sure I was. The key she handed back that night was to the apartment we'd been sharing for 2 years. The apartment I'd paid the deposit on. The apartment where I'd proposed to her 6 months earlier, on the balcony overlooking the park, with her favorite wine and a ring I'd saved 8 months to afford. He was Marcus, her ex from sophomore year. The one she always said was immature, the one who'd cheated on her with her roommate, the one she claimed to despise. He'd messaged her 3 weeks before that night, apologizing for everything, saying he'd changed, that he'd been in therapy, that seeing her engagement photos on Instagram made him realize what he'd lost. She told me about the messages on a Tuesday. We were making dinner. I was chopping vegetables. She was stirring pasta sauce. Marcus reached out. She said casually, like she was mentioning the weather. He apologized for how things ended. "Okay," I said. "What did you say back?" I said thank you. That it meant a lot to hear. I didn't think much of it then. That was my first mistake. Over the next 2 weeks, she started acting different. Distant. She'd smile at her phone and flip it over when I walked by. She'd go to the gym at odd hours. She'd say she was tired when I tried to initiate anything intimate, then stay up until 2 a.m. texting someone. I asked her about it on a Saturday morning. We were having coffee on the balcony, the same balcony where I'd proposed. "Are you talking to Marcus?" I asked. She didn't even flinch. "Yeah, we've been catching up. He really has changed. He's doing well now, has a good job, seeing a therapist regularly." "How often are you talking?" "I don't know. Every few days." "What's the big deal?" "The big deal is you're engaged. To me." She set her coffee down hard. "I'm allowed to have friends. You're being insecure." That word. Insecure. Like my concern about my fiancé constantly texting her cheating ex was some character flaw I needed to work on. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. She said she was meeting her sister for drinks. I had a client dinner that night anyway, so I didn't question it. But my dinner got canceled last minute. The client had a family emergency. I texted Sarah to see if I could join her and her sister. No response for 40 minutes. When she finally replied, "Already headed home." Rachel wasn't feeling well, so we cut it short. I was already home. She wasn't there. She walked in at 11:47 p.m. I was sitting in the dark living room. "Where were you?" I asked. She jumped. "Jesus, you scared me. I told you with Rachel." Rachel posted an Instagram story 2 hours ago. She's at a concert downtown with her boyfriend. I watched her face in the dim light from the hallway. The calculation happening behind her eyes. Okay, fine. I was with Marcus. But nothing happened. We just talked. He's going through a hard time and needed someone. You lied to me. Because I knew you'd react like this. Like what? Like someone who doesn't want his fiancée sneaking around with her ex. She started crying. You don't understand. Marcus and I have history. We never got proper closure. I need to figure some things out. Figure what out? You're engaged. She took off her ring. Set it on the kitchen counter. I need space. I think you should stay at your brother's for a few days. I stared at the ring. At her. This is my apartment, Sarah. Our apartment. Check the lease. Her face went white. She'd never actually signed it. I'd added her to utilities, to the parking spot, but the lease renewal 3 months ago. I'd signed a loan because she'd been out of town for her sister's baby shower. That's when she started calling Marcus. Right in front of me. He didn't answer. She tried twice more. Then she texted him. I saw her hands shaking. I'll stay at Marcus's tonight, she finally said. There it is, I said. She grabbed some clothes, her laptop, her toiletries. Before she left, she set my apartment key on the counter next to her engagement ring. I'll come back tomorrow to talk, she said. No need, I said. I'll pack your stuff. You can pick it up next week. She left. I sat there until 3 a.m., staring at that ring. Update 1. The next morning, I called my brother James. He's a lawyer, not the kind that handles relationships, but the kind that handles everything else. I told him the situation. Change the locks today, he said. Document everything. Screenshots of messages if you have access. Get her stuff out of there. I changed the locks by noon. I packed her belongings carefully. I wasn't cruel, just thorough. Boxed everything up, labeled it, stacked it neatly in the second bedroom. She texted me that afternoon. Can we talk tonight? I made a mistake. Can I come over? No, I replied. Your things will be ready for pickup next Saturday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Bring someone to help you move them. Please. I need to explain. I didn't respond. Over the next week, she sent me 43 messages. Everything from apologies to anger to bargaining. She called 18 times. I answered none of them. My brother told me this was the right move. Stay silent, stay clean, don't engage. On Thursday, I got a message from Marcus. Hey man, Sarah told me what happened. Just want you to know nothing physical happened between us. She was just confused. Don't punish her for having feelings. I blocked him immediately. Saturday came. Sarah showed up at 10:15 a.m. with her sister Rachel and Marcus. I opened the door, propped it open with a doorstop, and gestured to the bedroom where her boxes were stacked. Everything's there, I said. Sarah looked at me like I was a stranger. Can we please talk? Alone? No. 5 minutes. Please. Marcus stepped forward. Dude, just give her 5. You're in my home, I said quietly. I suggest you start moving boxes. Rachel looked uncomfortable. She grabbed a box and headed out. Marcus stood there for a moment, then followed. Sarah didn't move. I love you, she said. I got confused. Marcus and it was just emotional. Nothing happened. I swear. It doesn't matter, I said. How can you say that? We were going to get married. Were, I said. Past tense. Your ring's in the dish by the door. Take it or leave it. She started crying. Really crying. The kind that used to make me want to hold her. I felt nothing. She took the ring. Walked out. They cleared the apartment in 45 minutes. When they left, I sat on my couch in the silence and felt lighter than I had in months. Update 2. 3 months went by. I threw myself into work. Got promoted to senior analyst. Started going to the gym consistently, something I'd let slide during the relationship. Reconnected with friends I'd neglected. Went on a few dates, nothing serious. But it felt good to remember I was allowed to meet new people. My brother invited me to Thanksgiving at his place. I almost said no. Holidays felt heavy that year, but I went. That's where I met Lauren. She was James's wife's cousin, in town from Seattle for the week. She was a graphic designer, funny, easy to talk to. We ended up in the kitchen together doing dishes while everyone else watched football, and she told me about her disaster of a last relationship. Her ex had borrowed $15,000 from her for a business opportunity that turned out to be a crypto scam. At least you got out, I said. At least you got out, she echoed back, and we both laughed. We exchanged numbers. Started texting. She came back to visit for Christmas, and we spent New Year's Eve walking around the city, talking until 3 a.m. I wasn't looking for anything, but it was happening anyway. Update 3, February. For months after Sarah walked out. It was a Tuesday night, around 9 p.m. I was cooking dinner, stir-fry, nothing fancy, when someone knocked on my door. I opened it. Sarah stood there, mascara running, eyes swollen, wearing the same jacket she'd worn the night she left. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I'm so sorry. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I just looked at her. Marcus and it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. He's the same person he always was. He was texting other girls the whole time we were together. I found out last week when his ex-girlfriend messaged me screenshots. Okay, I said. I thought about you every single day. I kept expecting you to reach out. To fight for us. There was no us to fight for, I said. You ended it. Because I was scared. Because we were getting so serious and I panicked and ran to something familiar. I don't care why you did it, Sarah. She wiped her face. Can I come in? Please? I know I don't deserve it, but please. Let's just talk. No. I still love you. I never stopped. I know you still love me too. I almost laughed. I don't. You're lying. I'm really not. She looked past me into the apartment. Saw 2 wine glasses on the counter. Saw a woman's jacket on the coat hook. Lauren had left it there the night before. Her face changed. You're seeing someone. That's none of your business. How long? Does it matter? How long? She shouted. 3 months, I said calmly. And before you ask, no, I didn't cheat. I met her after you left. She broke down completely, slid down against the hallway wall, sobbing. I stood in my doorway, watching her. A year ago, this would have destroyed me. 6 months ago, it might have made me hesitate. Now, I felt bad for her. That was it. You should go, Sarah, I said quietly. I gave up everything for you, she sobbed. No, you gave up everything for the idea of Marcus. And it didn't work out. That's not my problem. I stepped back inside and closed the door. Locked it. She knocked for another 10 minutes. Then I heard her footsteps fade down the hallway. I picked up my phone and texted Lauren. Random question. Want to come over? I'm making too much food. She sent back a gif of someone running. She showed up 20 minutes later, and we ate dinner, and I told her what happened, and she listened without judgment, and it felt right. Final update. It's been 7 months since Sarah showed up at my door crying. Lauren and I are still together. She moved here from Seattle 3 months ago. We're not engaged. Neither of us is rushing anything, but it's good. Really good. The kind of relationship where you don't have to second-guess every text, every mood, every silence. Sarah blocked me on everything after that night. I heard through mutual friends that she moved back to her hometown. Marcus apparently got engaged to someone else 2 months ago. I don't know if that's true. I don't care enough to verify it. I kept the engagement ring, took it to a jeweler, and had the diamond reset into a different design. Gave it to my mom for her birthday. She cried. She never liked Sarah anyway. Mothers always know. Sometimes I think about that night she handed me the key. How calm I was. How I didn't beg or plead or make a scene. I just took it and walked away. Best decision I ever made. Edit 1. For everyone asking, no, I never found out if anything physical happened between Sarah and Marcus. Honestly, after a certain point, the distinction didn't matter to me. Edit 2. Lauren knows the full story. I told her everything on our 3rd date because I didn't want any surprises. She appreciated the honesty. Edit 3. Yes, I'm aware some people think I should have fought harder. To them I say, you can't fight for someone who's already chosen to leave.